Today, we're diving into something really cool. What happens when you take all the data from our modern gadgets and pair it with the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda? Well, we're about to find out how that combination creates a wellness plan that's actually all about you. So, does this sound familiar? You've got a smartwatch, maybe a fitness ring, and it's tracking everything: your steps, your heart rate, your sleep. It's just this constant flood of numbers. But what's the deal with all of it? And more importantly, what are you even supposed to do with that information?
And that exact feeling, that sense of being totally lost in the numbers, that brings us right to our first big idea, the data overload problem. We have more information about our bodies than any generation in history, but having all that data doesn't automatically make us healthier.
I mean, just think about it. Your device tells you, hey, you got 47 minutes of deep sleep or your HRV score dropped. And that's great. It's awareness, right? It's a fantastic first step, but it usually just leaves you with more questions. Okay, so what now? It's all data with zero direction.
So how do we close that gap? How do we go from just having a bunch of raw numbers to actually having a real plan? Well, the answer, it turns out, is in this incredible combination of the ancient and the modern.
Okay, so check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you've got technology. It is amazing at giving us awareness at scale. It shows us the patterns, the when, and the how much. But on the other hand, you have Ayurveda, and that's where you get the crucial context and cure. It helps us understand our body's natural rhythms and gives us the what and the why, suggesting real things we can do to get back in balance. And when you put those two together, boom, that's the result. You finally move past that generic advice like, oh, just get more sleep, and you get into truly personalized prevention. You start making targeted, sustainable changes that are actually based on your unique data and what your body needs. All right, so the theory is one thing, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at how this whole idea can turn a simple notification on your wrist into a real, meaningful change. Here's a perfect example. Let's say your wearable flags 3 nights of crummy sleep. That's step 1. Then, the data shows your deep sleep is way down. That's step 2. But here's where the magic happens. Instead of just getting frustrated, you apply a simple Ayurvedic response. A little evening routine, maybe some warm milk, definitely turning off screens an hour before bed, and 5 minutes of calm breathing. And the outcome? It's not just better sleep. Suddenly, your digestion is better, and that 3 p.m. energy crash just disappears. And this doesn't just work for you as an individual, this scales up. Imagine a manager sees that the whole team's HRV, a huge marker for stress, is tanking during a big product launch. The data pinpoints that the stress is spiking right around review meetings. So what's the Ayurvedic response? Not just telling everyone to manage their stress, it's practical stuff. Scheduling focused 90-minute work blocks with tiny breath breaks, and maybe setting up a station with calming teas. The result? A team that's less stressed, more focused, and way healthier. Okay, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but where on earth do I actually start? Well, don't worry, here's a really simple, totally realistic 4-week plan to put all this into practice. So the absolute key here is to start small. Seriously. Week 1, you basically do nothing. You just wear your tracker, maybe keep a little log of what you eat and how you feel, and just observe. No pressure. Then, in week 2, you pick 1 or 2 tiny little things to try, based on what you saw. By week 3, you're turning those little things into daily rituals, and then in week 4, you look at your data again, see what actually worked, and tweak things. See, it's a gentle process, not some crazy, radical overhaul. As we start to wrap this up, the big idea here is about creating a smarter and, frankly, a much kinder relationship with our own health. And a huge part of that is being really thoughtful about how we do this, which means there are a few important ground rules to keep in mind. Okay, this part is super important. First, remember your wearable gives you signals, not medical diagnoses. If you have a real health concern, please talk to a professional. Also, be careful with things like Ayurvedic herbs. They're powerful, so get expert guidance. And of course, always protect your health data and treat Ayurveda with the respect it deserves. It's a deep, ancient system, not just the latest wellness gimmick. So when you bring this all together, what's the key takeaway? Well, it's a pretty simple but powerful way to operate. It all starts by using technology for what it does best, to measure what actually matters. But then, instead of just getting bogged down by all the numbers, you interpret that data with wisdom. You use the incredible, time-tested context that a system like Ayurveda could give you. And finally, you take that amazing insight and you use it to act consistently.
We're not talking about huge, overwhelming changes here. We're talking about small, sustainable choices that over time build into real, lasting health.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Take a look at your device, check in with how you feel right now, and just ask yourself, what is one small, wise action that your data is telling you to take today?